this is a story which I thought of that, okay, India is having a civil defense drill. What is this drill? There will be a siren. So at least you know that this drill means there will be a siren, either a human being or there will be a siren from the tower. And then comes the whole story that what do they teach. So mostly this drill is done when there is an earthquake situation or a fire situation, maybe a chemical leak or an attack. Right now we are doing it for an attack. And what they do teach in the drill is answer that just draw these simple things and you can explain your day-to-day life as well. The more we make the problem look complex, the more intelligent we are perceived. Now this is one of the problems which I feel is there in the society. We have transformed from an easygoing, playful human society to a complex human society.
Hi, welcome to Bifocal Naturalist. Our guest today is Piyush Modi, popularly known as Curious Piyuesh. Piyush has revolutionized business communication through visual facilitation and sketching. If you want to change, and innovate, you can use Piyush's methods and his work. I am a student of Piyush and I have used it in my lectures and presentations. And I have also introduced it to my interns from biotechnology, Jai Hind College, and management students of ITM. Through the use of visual thinking and sketching, you can, communicate very effectively and solve problems creatively and collaborate much better. Welcome, Piyush. How are you?
Thanks, Vijaya, for the kind introduction. I think you said much more than what I do, but it also gives me that pillar, the peg to reach to that level that I can justify your compliments. But thank you for your kind introduction, Vijaya.
Thank you. It's
I'm
lovely.
good. I'm good. I'm excited to answer your questions and maybe if someone can benefit from our discussion.
Yes, I mean, that is the main thing, so that the viewers benefit and learn more. The young and not so young, everyone can benefit from today's session. But
Yes.
first, I'm very curious. Why are you called Curious Piyush? And
Ah,
another question, did you go to an art school, to learn sketching? You focus on visual facilitation and sketching.
wow, very relevant question. The second one, especially. Let me answer the first question first. Curious Piyush, because I think entrepreneurship. This is my entrepreneurial full-time entrepreneurial project which I do or work which I do. I thought entrepreneurs are driven by uh, something which is personal to them, and I thought my business name should be my personality. I have been, and this also took me some visual brainstorming that what should be the name, what should be the adjective which I should add to it. And I thought that one thing which I associate myself is curiosity. Um, Also, that curiosity is the mother of innovation and problem solving. And from childhood, I am a I used to think something which is curious or which is innovative in nature, and even today that thing drives me. I thought that will be the best name which suits me, so that's why I added Curious Piyush. Remind me your second question, Vijaya.
Yes, you go to an art school. Why sketching?
Ah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's the whole uh, point where I want to make a dent. That visualization is a human instinct, very as strong a human instinct as, let's say, being in a society. It is as that strong, and also because human beings started communicating visually. Take the example of Mesopotamia or the Egyptian civilizations. We started drawing on the caves. As technology developed, as language developed, we started communicating more with alphabets and more with sentences, but our instinct still lies in visuals. So I didn't go to an art school, and that's the exact uh, thing which I want to prove, that to draw, to communicate, communication drawing need not have a design degree in your hand. So it's very instinctive. It is very human in nature. So that's why.
That's right. So that means anyone and everyone can sketch.
Yeah, A, B, C, D. Anybody can draw.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Piyush, can you tell us, why visual facilitation and sketching? I mean, what is your journey? Can you tell us more about your journey and the challenges you have faced?
Um, So basically, as in my college days, I didn't have any idea what is visual facilitation or how it is used at work. But I did draw. I used to sketch, for example, like general canvas sketching or something out of my own interest. Um, uh, and then there was always an instinct in me that why are we behaving so differently between 9 to 5? So 9 to 5, we have to behave like the corporates, like the businesses. But after 5, we are normal human beings. We will play guitar, we will draw, we will do all those things. And I'm a strong believer that human beings are not robots. And we cannot switch gears like a robot that, okay, from 9 to 5, I'll be hardcore analytical guy. And from nine, after 5, we'll be hardcore art guy or something. So I thought that my human talent or the human strength is much more important. Just that the corporate do not know how to integrate human talent into their work. How can they bring it into an ROI? So that was one driving factor, and I loved sketching. I thought what to do. After shifting to Netherlands, Netherlands is a high on visual country. When I say high on visual, I think most of the countries are, but you see small doodlings even in shops, even in their advertisement. For example, in India, Blinkit, when you order Blinkit envelope, the envelope has so much of doodling to it. And it has a communication kind of doodling in which they are telling you how to do 5 points, let's say. So that started making me curious, and that again, the curious nature pushes you to go deeper into it. That what are the possibilities? What are the possibilities? So I started with communicating. The workshop which you attended, which was sketchnoting. So sketchnoting is all about communication with visuals, but then comes problem solving as well. How we can problem solve visuals, and the third level is how we can gamify our problems. So if, for example, games like Monopoly. Monopoly is a game which is designed around a problem to make kids understand the value of money, how to save money, and how to spend money. Can we gamify all our problems, a corporate problem as well? So that was the whole linkage, and that's the whole gamut of visual facilitation, and that was my driving factor. So that was the journey as well, from communication to problem solving.
Can you tell me more about this gamification which you're talking about?
So think about this. So before coming to the gamification part, think from the philosophical part. Why every problem has to be tough in nature, or it should be hardcore analytical in nature? Can we not play a game to solve any problem? Let's take an example of let's say you have a conflict, cultural conflict in your company. People are, and especially if you are a big company and you have people coming on from multinational company. So imagine you have a conflict. Now, what usually managers do is they will call people in a meeting, they will open an Excel sheet, and thanks to our MBA kind of education, the more we make the problem look complex, the more intelligent we are perceived. Now, this is one of the problems which I feel is there in the society. Complication is associated with intelligence, and simplicity is associated with joke, and corporates do not want joke. And I am a strong believer, what if I can solve your problem by cracking a joke or by playing a game? You just want problem solving, right? But I don't know how it has we have transformed from an easygoing, playful human society to a complex human society. And every corporate, if you see their punchline, everyone is thinking about simplicity. They want to make consumers' life simple. But to make consumers' life simple, to make that product, they make their employees' life very complex. And that is why stress comes. And that is why you think 9 to 5 is such a headache. After 5 o'clock, I'm happy. When we facilitate or we go to companies, we make your 9 to 5 also playful, and that too by increasing your ROI. So it doesn't affect your ROI. In fact, it adds to your ROI. Just that people don't know this methodology.
Mhm. Very interesting. But I think today we are carrying stress home with this work from home,
Yeah.
policy which is set in post COVID. Piyush, how can ordinary people, common people who are not in business circles, apply it for improving their creativity and innovation?
So improving your creativity, forget about that. That is the by default product which will automatically come. It's the peel of the banana. The
Ah,
real banana is your problem solving. Once you will not start solving problems of your daily life visually, it will still keep on, you will keep on adding it as it's a creative skill, or let's say it's a time pass kind of no, it's a hardcore, the way to solve your problems. Creativity, meditative, all these things will come by default. You cannot stop that. The visuals have that strength in them to. Now problem solving, basically, let me take an example. Let's say you are reading a book. Now we read so many books and we forget many a times that what we read, and many times we take notes, paragraph notes. That's what has been taught in our school, and that is why cursive handwriting was introduced to us, to write very fast notes. Now what if I tell you that when you read a book, you can make and I have few examples for you. Imagine that you can make a visual summary like this of a book. Let me show you. So if you're reading a book, maybe you can have four boxes in which you write that what was the key idea of that book, what action you will take after reading that book, because every book inspires you to take an action. What is your personal insight about the book, and an actionable reminder. Now, these four things summarizes the book. Imagine even a chapter, for example. Now, imagine when I'm reading a book, or maybe you're watching a TED talk, just start with this visual organizer and keep doing it. So that becomes your book summary. In fact, the visual book summary of a book. um, that's the simplest way where you can start with. My wife gives me visuals to buy groceries, because I forget things when she gives me a list. So she gives me a visual: buy potatoes, buy tomatoes.
I think I must consult you. I'm coming out with a book on vegetarian cooking. So maybe
Oh,
I should
nice.
come to you for a thumbnail, or something like that.
In
A
fact,
brief
Vijay,
resume
you should make a
analysis.
sketch noted summary of every chapter, and you
Huh.
will see how your readership will increase. People first see the visual, and that
Uh-huh.
automatically sets their frame of mind. 30% value is already delivered, and now reading your chapter becomes even more easy because now there is a visual summary. I am an atheist. One reason is because religious books do not have photos, do not have pictures. Now, I don't know how people read so thick books which has no pictures. So when books have pictures, you will see that your readability increases.
I'll come to you with this. I also I want to know, in business and with individuals, have you had any success stories, something you would like to share with us?
So my usual work is when a corporate calls me. For example, they have a problem. Let's say even as obvious a problem as increasing their sales to twice their sales. They will call me, and now when we will be calling their stakeholders like the finance guy, the marketing guy, even the user, that's where we play games to solve their problem. So how can we make a new product, let's say, which gives you 2x of your sale? Now, coming up with a product is a brainstorming session. That brainstorming session becomes so boring when we just talk and people just discuss, raise their hands. And most often it happens that, let's say, if you have a CEO in the meeting, whatever CEO will be thinking or saying, most people will circle around that, right? So verbal has that bias to it. Now, when you play the games are designed in such a way that they nullify biases, because the games are designed in, they have votings, they have dot voting. So whatever even the CEO has said or hinted, people won't be able to get biased from that. So we had a success story in which we were solving a problem of, it was a social problem that people are becoming less physically social in this internet world. We are becoming less physically social. So what can we do about it? And now uh, you will be thinking so many things, and we played 6 games in a sequence, and at the end of 2 hours we had a problem, and the problem lied with um, playing more games with your kids. So you never know what kind of solution will come up, but that solution will be your own solution. One thing which I want to add with this is, when you play games with the team and come up with solutions, the solution, you own the solution now, because the team has come up with a solution. Rather, a manager directing you that this is the solution, that's when stress comes to you, because you think the manager is telling me to do this and I don't want to do this. But when, as a team, you played a game and you came up with a solution, you become the owner of the solution and now you own the solution. So that's one thing. Another is the classroom sketch notes, which we are also going through right now. How teachers are able to convert their lessons, boring lessons like history, civics, all those lessons which we used to cram. Teachers are learning to sketch note these sessions, and now they are drawing on the whiteboard to teach students, and students are engaged because they love drawing and they will do anything to draw. And what is that anything? Anything is that learning. So that is the motivating factor to learn that World War II chapter, because then I can draw that chapter.
So, I mean, how do you have classes you teach in India and Netherlands, both the countries, your classes?
So I am fortunate that I have a little bit of tech savviness as well,
Uh-huh.
and I hug, or I love tech to transfer knowledge. So what we have is, we have online mentorships. So anyone from anywhere in the world can join our mentorship, and these are lifetime mentorships. So there are few innovations again. Thanks to my curious nature, I thought that people are bored of online learning. Can I make it as much closer to physical learning? So, one thing which I understood is that everyone wants to be with their coach for a lifetime. Like now, anywhere you have a problem, so we have converted our trainings into a lifetime mentorship. All new people keep joining in, but the old people can also keep on learning as many times as they want, and as many times they want to sketch note with me. So that's the lifetime mentorship which we have for trainers and coaches, and for teachers as well, two separate mentorships. In the classroom sketch notes, we take classroom sessions, classroom chapters, we convert history, civics, geography, mathematics as well. And in the sketch note mastery for trainers, we train the trainers and the coaches, and it also goes to all the three levels which we have discussed: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 3 is the gamification. So that's the kind of, I would say, mentorship which I give. I started with giving trainings, but then I thought training is just a one, which you attended as well. It was a 1 day thing, and then 1 day you are excited, and after that it goes down. And that's how we converted into a mentorship.
That is interesting. I mean, the group you have created, and I see a lot of interaction and also application in other fields. I was very
Yeah,
fascinated by this teacher, from an international school in Hyderabad, who was
yeah,
working on the sustainable development goals, the
yeah,
SDGs. It was
yeah.
very interesting, applying it in other fields,
Yeah.
because
And
not just business. Yeah.
last week in the classroom sketch note, we did have STG. And to your surprise and to my surprise as well, um, I'll give you an example. So a kid drew a sketch note, and in that sketch note, he drew something, but there was a line he added, just copied from the paragraph and pasted there. Now, when these things happen, I already understand that a kid writes point to point when he's not understanding that point, he's not able to draw that point, and then you just write it point blank. And that's where I asked, do you understand the meaning of this line? And he said no. And that is the problem with the education system. The teachers only know, only have the tool to understand a kid's learning is by checking their written answers. At max, Viva. Now, I take a full responsibility when I say this, that you can lie in writing, you can lie in speaking, but you cannot lie in drawing. You cannot draw unless and until you have understood exactly what that line means. And the teachers were shocked. And I said, that's where you tag students as front benchers and back benchers, because you didn't have the tool to understand whether the kid has understood or not. Because it's possible to lie in writing and speaking, but ask them to draw Newton's first law, and then you will understand whether he has actually understood F is equal to ma or not. That's the whole bottom line.
Absolutely. So, now we are having a drill today. in Pune
Okay.
across India because of this situation, So we are trying to tell students and everybody how to act when there
Yeah.
is a siren.
Yeah.
If you're in school, how to hide beneath the thing. Can you show us, how do we train? How do we, inform our people, the young and the old, through your sketches?
Vijaya,
I'm sorry I'm
Vijaya,
asking you this, but I thought that will be interesting and
no,
very
I'm
topical.
surprised. I'm surprised. Do you have a telepathic strength or something? How do you know that I've already made this? And in fact, in the morning, I have made a reel on this. There's a go to my Instagram and you will see the reel. So that's what. And this was my
So
first
that is
Hindi
the
reel.
Guru Sishya Parampara.
Probably that's the telepathy. That's the telepathy. So I made a reel, and this is what how simply you can make. So see, this is a story which I thought of that. Okay, India is having a civil defense drill. What is this drill? There will be a siren. So at least you know that this drill means there will be a siren, either a human being or there will be a siren from the tower. And then comes the whole story that what do they teach. So mostly this drill is done when there is an earthquake situation or a fire situation, maybe a chemical leak or an attack. Right now we are doing it for an attack. And what they do teach in the drill is answer that just draw these simple things and you can explain your day-to-day life as well. And that's what I do when I explain things, and that's my business as well now.
That is really wonderful. I mean, I think besides your curiosity, I think you're very well prepared. I must
I
say
don't know.
that.
Yeah, this is part of my life, and you asked a very part of the life question. This is what is happening today. That's the drill which is happening today. I thought I should use sketch notes to make people learn about this drill.
Yeah, because that is what we need to learn. Because in India we're quite laid back about these
Mm.
things. There is no training, so that's what is very, very
But
important.
Vijay, you have also put on a very important point in India. India, I find, is the most visual country. Take Khajuraho, for example. We
Yes,
have been engraving things on the walls.
yes,
But the what I feel, and I take full responsibility because of our history, because of all the foreign dominances, that thing has been put in our mind that West is best. Whatever comes from West is best, and when technology comes from West, that's the best thing. We forget our own strengths. Check Chinese. Chinese people made their own strength. Their language is visual. They have not taken alphabets from English.
pictorial.
Victorian. So I think, and this is what I also see from my trainings. Indians pick this skill very, very quickly because it's in their instinct. Even when somebody will ask you a direction, hey, Vijay, can you tell me where is that shop? Our instinct is if there is a pen or there is a paper, you will at least draw something. You don't know the drawing, but you will still draw or scribble something. We always have that student in our classroom who is filling the notebook from the back, doodling, all those things, right? And the teachers don't like it. That's the whole paradigm shift which I'm making. If kids love drawing, why not use drawing as their language? And why to ask them not to draw?
Correct. No, even our rangoli, which we draw on the
Yeah,
ground, this is,
yeah,
it just goes off. It's just there for a day. But
yeah,
it's such a good way of communicating. You see the villagers,
yeah.
let's come down. And also you have these
Warli art.
stone art on the
Yeah,
ground, in the
yeah,
plateaus where there are rocks. In the Konkan area in Maharashtra,
yeah,
you find a
yeah,
lot of these hieroglyphics and, of course, cave paintings. I think we were very, very rich in our pictorial and visual thinking. And as
yeah,
you said, we've lost it because we thought this was not not scientific. I think that's how people thought. Oh, this is
yeah.
all rubbish, and this is our
It's
attitudes, our mentality changed over the
it's the
years.
same thing which happens with clothes, you see, and I truly get surprised when I see in a hot summer, June or July, when I go to wedding, people are still wearing jackets. And
Hmm.
forgetting our own khadi and cotton, and now the suits are the modern thing. And that's the hugely bad thing which happens when a country is colonized, because the foreign ideas are pushed to make as the mainstream ideas and you forget your own strengths. So wow, reading ABCD is much more than what I was drawing in Warli art. And that's how the paradigm shift is, that made in my country is bad and made in your country is better.
That is,
That's the whole mindset change.
we look upon that as sophisticated and ours as very rustic, you know. So
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
we, you know, lost our connection to our roots. So
yeah.
Piyush,
Very true.
now, you know, I would like to know, suppose young, you know, students, because I work with a lot of students, school and college students, how would you, you know, encourage them to take up visual facilitation and sketching to
Mm,
improve their personality and their goal setting? See, goal setting is very, very important
yeah,
when the youth and the youngsters are concerned. You know,
yeah,
otherwise everything is very aimless. So can you draw some
yeah.
light on it?
Absolutely. Let me cover one point, the first point first. For schools, it all starts from top down. So the teachers have to be encouraged, empowered to how to use visuals in their classrooms. We have to make our classrooms visual. You don't need to encourage the kids. The kids are by default, they are ready for their drawing lessons. So the kids are by default motivated. Now, goal setting. Now, if right now I will ask teachers to teach students how to set their goals, they will come up with a PowerPoint. That's one thing. And now that PowerPoint will have four boxes, goals, aims, tools, and all those things. Now, understand the difference, and that's what the difference is about storytelling and these boxed PowerPoints. Now, have you seen in nature anything which is boxed? Nature doesn't provide anything in box.
Yes.
And that is what the difference is. In our schools, in our 9 to 5 jobs, we are seeing flowcharts and boxes, which we don't see in real life. And that's why it is seeming that, oh my God, this teacher is pushing me to teach something which is not human. Now, again, your telepathy is working. I don't know how you know. I keep making a lot of videos and I have made a storyboard of goal setting. Let me show you this one. In fact, they are all goal setting related. Now, okay, let me. So, when you talk about goals, you also talk about what's stopping you from reaching that goal, or what are the current strengths you already have that helps you. For this, we will be making 3 boxes, right? But what if I can make a scene which is actually visualizable? Now, if I show you this,
Ah,
don't you see that this scene you have somewhere seen either in movies? This is not unrealistic, that you are going on a mountain, so that mountain has a goal. Especially in India, you always see that the first thing that comes in your mind is Kargil war, because that was the goal. Now the blockers in this reaching the goal is maybe a thunderstorm. So that could be your blockers. Right here, all the blockers. Put post-its here. Ask kids to draw the storyboard on a big sheet, on a chart paper, and then start brainstorming. These are my blockers. Maybe that I don't understand English too well, or maybe that is some other problem. What is your current strength? So my current strengths are the tools which I am taking with me. This trolley has a tool. Now, this is not a boxed presentation. This is a storytelling. This is a natural story. And similarly, there are so many templates. Imagine that you want to take your life from now to then, which means from a small home to maybe you are making a castle. We have all seen this picture, and I've taken a poll, and most of the people remember by this picture your Mario video game. We all played Mario video game in which there was a dragon,
ah,
and now see, you are smiling as well. And now you are seeing that, oh my God, what Piyush is saying is pretty fun and pretty natural.
and
He's
relatable.
relatable. He's not
Relatable.
showing me 4 boxes. If I would be showing you these 4 boxes, your first brain will think is, my God, something MBA is something MBA, something super educational, something super analytical is coming. And Piyush is just saying for the sake of saying. But this is so natural. This is now and then you have to put logs, and these are the logs which are your solution. Maybe you want to make a crocodile here, which are your problems, which are your, again, blockers. And similarly, these are so many simple storyboards which teachers can use with kids to
What is this?
brainstorm with them. Yeah. And these are the storyboards which you can also use to understand a chapter. Let's say you have explained a chapter, World War I or World War II, and now take a reflection. And now reflection should not be just oral in nature, because oral things need English expertise. And most of the kids fall in this trap that they are not good, because most of us Indians are not coming from English speaking parents. And
Yes.
that's where your English will not be so good always. Only some kids are blessed to have those super educated parents who are coming from 70s and 80s. That was not the time in which education was so high in India, so they will be using their local language. Sometimes people don't even understand, say, Hindi too well, so they will be very good in their local language. Visual is a by default global language. Now this, a Chinese will also be making, a German will also be making, an Indian will also be making, and all three will be understanding this also, because this is nature. This is what they've seen in their Tom and Jerry serials or in some movies, or at least they can visualize that this happens in life. But language has that boundary, and that's why we have developed so many thousands of languages. I don't know how human beings had that much. I think they had a lot of time to make languages, but languages make boundaries. This is so simple.
That is true. I think drawing is a very international language. You can call it
Yeah.
that. Communication
Yeah.
is far easier. Otherwise, you go from here to another state. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't know the language. You go to Gujarat, you don't know Gujarat. You go to Bengal, you may not know. You go to Tamil
Yeah.
Nadu, your
And the
communication.
proof of this is different phones have different languages, but their smileys are all the same.
So, Piyush, I would like to know, if there's any message you would like to give our viewers.
Bang on message. Life is simple, and common sense is your biggest university. There's nothing bigger than common sense. Try to focus on common sense development rather than boxing yourself in one topic. An electrical engineer will think like an electrical engineer. A mechanical engineer thinks like a mechanical engineer. When you are reading history, you think that it's an history chapter. I should not bring science into it. Life is not like that. Everything mixes in everything, and that's when you develop a holistic common sense. Keep things simple, and visualization is that tool that pushes you to be simple. And that's the whole trick about it. As soon as, when you ask a machine, what is a machine? The common example which you see from Three Idiots movie. As soon as you draft things in a sentence, that will automatically go in the box of complexity, analytical, cool, and all those things. As soon as, if you ask me, Piyush, what is a machine, I will just take a simple pen and draw a machine. Madam, this is a machine. Simple. Languages have, although I'm a big fan of languages, but then languages have this inherent falsy in them to make things more intellectual. And that's where the whole thing goes for a fault. Trying to pose more intellectual, and that's the deterrent. Don't try to pose yourself intelligent. Whatever intelligence you are born with is good enough for you to be absolutely at the top, whatever you want to do. So simplicity wins.
That's really wonderful. So we really need not, crave and say, oh, that person has got such high IQ. I have this. I mean, it's, how you
Yeah.
deal with it and your visualization and language, restricts you because the
Yeah.
words in the language, whereas when you're
Yeah.
sketching, your imagination can run a riot. That is
Absolutely.
not possible when you see words. They compartmentalize our thought. Whereas
Yeah.
sketching and visualization, helps you to expand in a very, very, large dimension to a large horizon. I think it's
Yeah.
really wonderful. And I have benefited immensely, Piyush, let me tell you. And so have my interns benefited. They learned on their own. I gave them your videos, connection
Yeah.
links, and I said, please go. And they came out with such lovely work.
Yeah.
They were studying artificial intelligence, medicinal plants with
Okay.
artificial intelligence. So, I mean, they
Okay.
came up with such lovely work. And I must
Yeah.
really thank you, and of course, Deepa Soman for
Yeah.
introducing me to you. Otherwise, I would not have known about this
He's doing
wonderful
fabulous
work you
work as
do.
well.
And thank you very much. And I look forward to attending another class of yours and learning more how to use it for the environment,
Yeah.
especially the natural environment, because that is what, for the benefit of people
Vijay,
and the planet.
I have to take 30 seconds more to you because you're talking about environment. I know how much dedicated. Please take this storyboard with you because you're
Okay.
talking about environment, and now see how a tree teaches you your team strength as well. Now, see the bridge which I'm making, nature to corporate. So a tree's roots is basically your team's values. What are the values of your team?
Mm-hmm.
What are the skill sets is the branches of the tree, and
Uh-huh.
the fruits are the outcomes which you want to have. So see,
Okay.
even a simple goal setting exercise is transformed into a tree. Now for you, you can make a simple storyboard for any kind of plant. Let's say maybe you, I don't know the biological names of the plant, and you know the strength of the plant. Maybe some plant is smelling better, so use that smell as a storyboard and teach a life value. And now you will be able to have so much of things to talk when you are introducing your garden to people. Let's say, imagine I'm calling it a garden, and tell them that this plant teaches you goal setting, this plant teaches you team bonding, this plant teaches you. And that will be so fun, and people will be able to understand life values from your garden.
So I do these, management through the garden, garden-based
Yeah,
learning. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's very interesting.
Me too.
There is so much to learn from nature, so many
Yeah.
management skills and techniques to be learned, just being in nature or in a garden. Thank you, Piyush. It was really wonderful talking to you, and I hope to meet you again soon sometimes. When are you coming to India now, and what's your program?
I was supposed to come in July, but looking at the Indo-Pak tension, I have
Situation.
postponed my tickets. So let's things settle, and then I'll be coming in July. But December, I mostly come to India.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.